right. Hello, everybody. Tanya here. And I have Teresa Nguyen with me. We're going to talk about dragon energy. And I'm really excited to get into that topic because it's something I am not that familiar with. I have heard of it, but yeah, excited to hear more about it. So, Teresa, thank you for being here.
Hi, Tanya. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and share with everyone more about dragon energy and what it is and how you can work with it.
Yeah. So you have an interesting story experience of how you encountered this. I mean, clearly you are a nurse. That's your day job, I guess. But then you have this other side that is pretty like extraordinary, I would say. So yeah, share with us how you discovered this.
Yeah, I'm going to share a story that I don't think I shared with you when we first talked because it's like good timing right now. It was about 12 years ago on Halloween. I was totally not even into energy healing or the spiritual or anything like that, but I was curious about it, and my curiosity stemmed from movies and in the media, things like that. One of my friends had shared that her friend was holding a séance at a haunted house nearby. So I got another friend to sign up with me, and I'd never gone to a medium or a psychic or anything like that. So everything was very new, but I thought it would just be a fun, spooky thing to do for Halloween. My friend and I show up. It's a small, intimate group of about 10 people. And he gives, the medium does readings for each person within that circle. And when it came time for me, um, I kind of came with expectations that I would get answers on how to grow my entrepreneurial business that I had started. And I was feeling stuck, and I wanted some guidance on basically how to make more money. And I got something completely different, and I was not happy with my reading because I didn't resonate at all. But what happened was my grandmother, my mom's mom, came through, and she shared with me that I had spiritual gifts that I would be opening up, and I would step into energy healing, but it would not be something I would need to study or research or work very hard on. It would just come to me. And she started talking about ancestral healing and spiritual journey and crystals and scrying, and none of this made sense to me. None of this resonated with me, and none of it interested me. But this was 12 years ago when this medium shared a message from a grandmother that I never knew, a mother that my mom never knew. My mom really never knew her mother because she died when she was young, sharing a very profound message, one that I was not receptive to. So it's funny that I'm where I am today because 12 years ago, I was like, hell no, I don't want to do anything like that. Nothing within even my body was remotely interested, in that type of work. So fast forward, it's obviously been a journey. Fast forward, what would it be? 9 years later, I went to a retreat in Mount Shasta as part of the support team. And one of my really good friends was the main facilitator. She had shared with me that the first night we would be participating in a sound bath. And I was really excited because I'm usually the one facilitating sound baths. And it was like a rare occasion for me to receive. Before we even got to Mount Shasta, though, I also told her after she mentioned that the sound bath was happening that I had a feeling that there would be something that would happen for me. And I had no idea what it was. I knew it would be like some sort of spiritual experience. And I thought it was going to be like angelic and etheric and like lights and, just really graceful.
Mm.
Was sort of like what I had in my head. And, but I wasn't expecting it. It's just like, oh, if that were to happen, I would want that to happen. I'd want it to be easy. And so that first night after dinner, we walked into the yurt, and suddenly my heart starts to race, and I'm having heart palpitations, and everything that I'm trying to do to calm myself down doesn't work. And the weird thing is that I wasn't nervous going into the yurt. I wasn't nervous going into this experience. Yes, I knew that something might happen, but I wasn't nervous about it. It was just like, oh, if something happens, great. And I didn't have any sort of expectations. So there was this, this misalignment with what my body was doing versus how I was feeling. And it made me very nervous. But at the same time, I thought, well, maybe the sound bath will calm me down. Maybe the sound bath will help to just put me in the state of surrender and relaxation to help my body calm down from whatever, maybe it's like unknown stress that I had. So this was, just to set up the scene for you, this was a group of almost 20 women. I didn't know any of them. I would be spending the next week with them. And the only two people I knew were the two main facilitators. So I lay down next to two people who have no idea who I am. And the sound bath facilitator starts to drum. And every time she beats her drum, there's this energy inside my body that begins to grow. And it grows stronger and stronger, more intense. And I am just holding myself like this. Like I'm literally just constricting myself, trying to hold on to whatever is trying to come out. I did not feel safe for it to come out. There was a lot of sort of you know, worst case scenario events that were going on in my head, all the crazy possibilities. I might go crazy. What if I get possessed and start killing people? I mean, it's just the extreme thoughts that I'm having because I have no idea what is happening. I just know that there is this very powerful energy that wants to come out, and I am not letting it because I do not feel safe and I do not know what it is, and it doesn't feel familiar to me at all. But it got to the point where I couldn't hold on anymore. It was so big and so strong. It basically overtook my entire body. So I had to surrender. And as soon as I surrendered, I started making these weird noises and sounds with my mouth and throat. I was hissing, my tongue was clicking, I was making guttural noises with my throat. My body starts to convulse. My friend, the facilitator, runs over like immediately because she knows, like, she can hear me. And she lets me know like that I'm safe. And as soon as I know that she's there, I go into complete surrender. I feel safe to just allow this energy to work through me, whatever it is. And about 5 minutes into the experience, I open my eyes and I see dragons flying above me. And that's when I knew that this was dragon energy coming into my body to do whatever it wants to do at that moment. In retrospect, I mean, in that moment, I had no idea what was happening. I'm in my body. I'm completely aware of what's going on. I know what I'm feeling. I know what my mouth and tongue is doing, but I can't control it. And there are no messages. Like I'm not hearing messages or voices of spirit. This is just a complete physical, visceral experience that I'm present in. And I did try to stop it a couple times. And every time I stopped, like the energy would almost like, there was a lot of resistance. So I stopped and then the energy would resist so that I would have to surrender again. And as I got a little bit more comfortable with just surrendering, the dragon and the dragons then began to use my voice to sing with the sound bath facilitators, to
Mm.
tone with the sound bath facilitators. They were like participating in the healing. I was, it's like I'm having this conversation with myself in my head as all of this is going on. And I'm like, oh, I've never done anything like that with my voice before, and I'm like, wow, I'm really loud right now. Like all these things that are happening is something I would never intentionally do. I'm very much someone who likes to be in the background. So for me to be so vocal and so loud, and in that moment, I felt like it was very disruptive, uh,
Mhm.
because it wasn't necessarily like, uh, gracefully harmonizing,
Uh-huh.
necessarily. It was, very loud, and I just felt like it was a disruptive type of experience for people, at least in that moment.
Yeah.
So this all went on for about 45 minutes. But at the 30-minute mark, my friend said, okay, well, they're wrapping up with the sound healing now. And I was like, yeah, the dragons aren't stopping. I told her they're not stopping. And she's like, okay, don't worry about it. They're just really excited because they have never been in a human body before. They're exploring and they're doing healing and they're, activations. And she told me afterwards that as I was, going through my experience, they had channeled through her and told her which chakras to open so that one dragon could leave, which chakras to close as one dragon left, which chakras to open as other dragons came through. And so this wasn't just for them to, mess around in my body. I mean, this was a healing and activation, removing anything that was blocking the way of me eventually becoming this dragon channel, and being able to embody these energies and share the messages and facilitate healing. I Every time I look back, I see different images, and today it's just like the dragons are going through every single chakra, like burning, and I see water and I see ice and I see wind. It's like no wonder my body was reacting the way it was. It wasn't just them, like you're like, trying to figure out what it feels like to be in a human body, but there was work going on too. So it finally ends after I demand that they leave my body. It took a couple times, but I finally said, you need to leave now. Like, I am done. If you don't leave, we're never doing this ever again. And they finally left. Um, and at the end, I really felt like I needed to share with people what happened because it was obvious. To me, it was obvious that I was loud and this wasn't part of the sound bath healing. um, and so I told them that dragons came into my body and I didn't have control of it. But Amy was there. My friend Amy was there and she was holding space for me. And because I felt so safe, I was able to just have that full experience. And what was interesting was about four of the women out of the group came up to me afterwards and shared with me that the sounds that I was making, even though they had never heard it before, felt very familiar to them. So
Mm.
it was like an activation, a very light activation for others within the group as well, and that made me feel less weird and less, I mean, I don't know if I would say ashamed, but embarrassed,
Mm.
because I'm still processing all of this. I mean, this is, happening like minutes afterwards, me sharing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was so disruptive. I hope I didn't ruin the experience for anyone. But I needed them to know, like, I couldn't help it, and I couldn't stop it. And also not to scare them, not put any fear, to let them know later, like, that it felt very safe, but that this was a new experience for me as well. And they were all just so um uh open and so receptive and so interested in hearing more about the experience versus what I thought would
Mm.
happen was rejection
Mm.
and fear and, maybe they thought I made this up. And then so since then, I've been channeling dragons. So it was very, very, very much like they said, where I would really step into my gifts and I wouldn't have to do anything. It would just come, and I've been an energy healer prior to that for almost 10 years, but it was, it's nothing like what I do now. Um,
Yeah, so you were when you had that, the medium explain to you that you would be doing spiritual work,
mhm.
so then it was a couple years after then you started learning about energy healing, and it
Mhm.
wasn't until how many years after that then? 10 years after that that you had this experience, I
This,
guess?
I would say almost 10 years. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably like 8 or 9 years afterwards.
interesting. So
Mhm.
I'm curious, the facilitators, when this started happening, did they understand what was happening? Or was it also like, "What is Teresa doing? What's going on?"
Yeah, yeah, well,
Or
they I think they so there are 2. The one that was right next to me, she knew what was happening. She knew it was the dragons.
mhm.
And then I'm pretty sure the other one knew as well, just in the way the energy that was coming out of me. I'm pretty sure she knew as well, but I don't think any of the attendees knew.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Wow. It's so interesting. I mean, yeah, I know that it seems that well, it appears to me that, yeah, people have been having these experiences with dragons. Can you speak a little bit more about, or at least in your from your perspective, why they decided to show up or why they're showing up?
I I know that they're showing up here to help people activate their gifts faster. There is this urgency for humanity to upgrade and evolve. And the dragon energy does it very quickly and efficiently for those who are willing and able. I'm seeing a lot of women who um, are stepping into energy healing, but they haven't, started any training. They're just doing more of an exploration and education and training themselves, but they actually haven't like done any training to become an energy healer or a facilitator. So a lot of those types of people are attracted to me, and they have a session and their body starts moving. Like that's never happened before I started working with dragons. Like, but now that I work with dragons, they come into the space for the healing, and that's not I'm not expecting to like for them to their bodies to move, but that seems to be the theme or makes it like the common theme among the groups of people who are being awakened is they usually have one, dragon energy, and two, they want to step into energy healing, or they're already a healer and they are coming for just like a healing or a clearing, not realizing that the dragon energy also runs within them. But a lot of it really is to help activate these gifts and help people step into uh, their purpose of and mission of helping to heal others, so that we as a collective can ascend a little bit quicker, because things are moving, I guess, not as fast as spirit would like. I say spirit would like, but I know everything's in divine timing. However, I will
Yes.
say that the dragons are very persistent, and they're very, I wouldn't say impatient, but, like, they're like, "Let's not mess around. Like, let's just get this done, so that we can move things forward." And that's, like, one of the main things. Another thing too I've seen is also in a lot of women, and that's probably because I those are the types of people that I work with. Only I'm not sure why men don't come to me, but a lot of women come, and it is reigniting their divine feminine, and a lot of Shakti energy is running through them. So, um, I feel like Shakti energy is really hard to describe. It's like Kundalini, but there's like so much more. It's like every time I've experienced Shakti energy, it's been like a cyclone. It's been like a cyclone that just gathers up um trauma, and it gathers up density, and it gathers up anything and everything to be transmuted, but it does it in a way that that feels very um like a female warrior type of energy, and I see that in those women that I work with, this Shakti energy, and it's mostly because they've been functioning in divine masculine for so long, like
Mm.
I know I just mentioned about the dragons, like, let's just get this shit done. But there's like this ability when you work with the dragon energy to balance what's imbalance. So
Mhm.
it's like if you're functioning in the divine feminine for most of your life, or most of your daily life, then the dragon energy will help to balance it and bring in this divine masculine energy, so that you're embodying both. So basically, dragon energy is both masculine and feminine. When you work with it, it'll balance what's imbalanced.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah.
So what yeah, so what are some of the things that people, when they walk away, once they've experienced that, what do they notice is different inside of them
Gosh,
after?
like their entire being,
Yeah,
they don't have words to describe it.
interesting.
And so usually I share with them what I see, what I sense, and the messages that come through. And then I ask, like, so how do you feel? What was your experience? And they'll be like, I have no words. I just have to, it's usually I have to process this, because it's like me in that Mount Shasta experience, like, "Oh, what is going on with my body? Why is it moving?" So I know like how they feel when that happens. I'm always reassuring, don't worry, you're safe. This is loving energy. Like, I'm here right next to you. Like, allow this energy to move through, like reassuring them like they're safe to have this energy be within them, work with it. Um, you know, um, Stay as open as they can. I said, surrender, don't resist, surrender, 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 so that they can allow that energy to move in the body however it wants to. It does a lot of like back arching
Mhm.
with the heart opener, so as the energy moves, where it's moving, because they start going like this, and their back arches, their head goes back. And so it starts moving up the body and up through the energy centers,
Yeah.
uh, to help clear the energy pathways, for them to be able to receive, to be able to start to work with these gifts, which will start to appear within their life. It's not like they have this and then boom, suddenly all their clear gifts are opened up. It's
Mhm.
not like that,
Mhm.
but it is um, what gets the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting. And so it's almost like I feel when you describe this, um, it sounds, I'm sure it sounds different but similar in some way to when people do, intense holotropic breath work or whatever, it's like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right? There's
Uh-huh.
I mean, I experienced that, which was really interesting, of just, yeah, doing a lot of breath work and then, holding the breath and this kind of a thing, where the body just starts to move and convulse on its own because
Mhm.
the energy is breaking through. But it sounds like somehow that through the, and I'm guessing you're channeling the dragon energy through the language, right? Through the sounds
Mhm.
that you're making. Um, so the person that's receiving doesn't have to go through all the work of that intense breath work. Does that make
Right.
sense? Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. They definitely don't have to go through the breath work.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
The other thing I meant to say was, you know, this doesn't happen with everyone that comes to me, so I wanna set that expectation
right, right, right.
that it does not happen with everyone, but if these are like sort of like the themes or the what's the common themes or what's I can't speak. Um, the women that have certain things in common,
Uh,
is
yeah,
that they have that desire to be in a healing type of career.
I see.
They have explored spirituality. They are like really interested in that kind of thing. They're wanting to serve. Basically, that is when the dragon energy really starts to move through people, because that's who they're looking for.
Yeah,
And for those who just want a healing, which is just as good,
yeah,
they may not have as an intense experience, but they may see their dragons. They may still feel, the energy. It's just not going to be as intense where they're moving their body and they're starting to also speak light language and things like that.
yeah,
They
yeah,
may have really powerful experiences and healing. But I just want to set that expectation that it doesn't happen with
that's
100% of my
sure.
clients. Yeah.
Right, right. Totally makes a lot of sense. Um, so if you're watching, just gonna address the audience. If you have any questions, feel free to post a comment here, or if you're watching the replay, let us know you're having a replay or watching the replay and
Mhm.
ask your questions. Um, yeah, this is incredible. I mean, I really love that there's I mean, I have to agree. It does feel to me that there is a quickening, um, that there is this we're at this precipice as we're being asked to awaken and move into a more expanded level of consciousness. Like we can't
Mhm.
keep staying at this one level, and so yeah, it's really fascinating to me how um, just how varied and yeah, how people's gifts are coming online and that are I just find it really, I mean, it's just so fascinating to me that um, that it just happened. Like it was not like
Mhm.
you were seeking it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I mean, did you even, I'm curious, did you ever, working with dragons or dragon energy, anything you'd ever heard of before going into the Mount Shasta experience?
Yes. So I knew that I think someone mentioned it to me that there was a lot of dragon energy there. So
Oh,
that I knew. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I have a friend that lives there and she's brought it up a couple times
Mm,
in
mhm,
conversation. I'm like, "God, it's so
mhm.
interesting." Um, is so yeah, so tell us more, how can people work with you? Do you have any current offerings right now that you'd like people to know about?
Yeah, so, actually this week, I'm launching a, monthly membership where people can attend live healing sessions, dragon energy healing sessions, and so that, encompasses a lot. It encompasses, the dragon, like, light language. It encompasses, um, uh a sound bath, usually with the archangels is who I bring through. And then in the end, I channel messages from the dragon. So it's timeless guidance and timeless messages for people. So it's not specific necessarily to just this one moment. It's things that you can apply and re-listen to over and over again if you need to at any point in your life. I'm also relaunching my vocal expansion and light language mastery course in mid-November, which is a course that helps you to be able to open up your throat chakra. So if you have any problems or challenges with expression of your truth, expressing of your opinion, of your feelings, of your emotions, of just being visible through speaking, this is a really wonderful course for you to be able to unlock, this chakra, and then also tap into your own soul language, your own light language. And so I teach you how to do that through a proven process. And then also in next year, January 2025, I'm launching a 3-month Dragon Priestess program for energy healers and for those who are wanting to step into uh, becoming an energy healer and working with dragons.
Wow, fantastic. Well, sounds amazing. Sounds really, really great. So they can find you at here. You can see the banner,
Yep.
teresawynnspeaks.com. So they'll find all of that on there. Yeah. And you're
Mhm.
also on Facebook as Teresa Wynn Speaks.
Yes, I'm Teresa Wynn Speaks across all social media platforms. So
Excellent.
it's the same name everywhere you could look.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close the interview?
Yeah, I've been saying this very frequently because it's like the main thing that always seems the main message that always wants to come out and be shared is really use your sense of discernment. There's a lot of, I'll just call it false light out there where people are, what do you call it? Imitating energies that are not of the highest vibration. And so really listen to your heart. Just close your eyes and listen to what your heart says. As you're listening to that particular person speak, or you feel their energy, if your heart isn't expansive, then that energy may not be for you. So, feel for what that energy is telling you within your body so that you can discern who you want to learn from, who the information that you want to absorb, and the type of energy that you want to hold.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. It's an
Mhm.
important message. Beautiful. Wonderful. Teresa, it's been such an honor, and thank you so much for, yeah, just being bold and sharing your gifts. I mean, this path that you're walking is um, very unique, and yeah, what an amazing journey that you've been on. So, thank you for connecting with all of us and sharing your gifts.
Yes, thank
It's
you so much for holding this platform so that I could come
yeah,
and be here and be able to share my story.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. Wonderful. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for joining. Thanks for watching the replay. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to check Teresa out, and we'll talk again soon. So, bye for now, everyone.